r/ask Reddit. What is something about yourself that sounds totally made up but is 100% real? I was the best man on both sides of a lesbian wedding because I had dated both the bride and the bride, stayed close friends and introduced them to each other after our breakups. You, sir, are a true bro. Yeah, he may not be a girl, but he was the best man they ever dated. Get out. Imagine turning two women lesbian after dating them. I wish I could say it was only two. LOL. I have been informed by ex-partners that I come across as a safe person, and it makes people feel comfortable having me as a testing ground when they are unsure or a cover story when they aren't out yet. Doesn't bother me, I take it as a compliment at the end of the day. All joking aside, it really is a testament to your character that they feel comfortable enough to be themselves. I've published 4 peer-reviewed scientific papers on hamster testicles. I'm currently working on a critical COVID-related project which doesn't involve testicles, and thus would be much less exciting for Redditing purposes. This reminds me of a column I read in the Dallas Morning News 20+ years ago about the woman who was the first head of the insect zoo at the dinky little Natural History Museum. She had been a biology major, and into bugs and was working in a lab when a friend found out that the museum was looking for a director for its new bug zoo. She got a phone interview with some museum bigwig, who asked what she was currently doing. She replied, "I've been dissecting female mosquitoes to find out if they're virgins." He replied, "You're hired. How do you dissect a mosquito? They're so small, must be really difficult. They have tiny scalpels. Made for ants." I won 2 TV game shows. The $10,000 Pyramid won $10,300 in 1975, and Sale of the Century was on the show for 9 days, won $34,000 in cash and prizes in 85. Nice. I've never won anything in my life. Now you have. Oh, that's so offing sweet. I got ran over by a car, but the driver didn't see me and proceeded to back over me. Edit, thanks for all the kind words. I'm shocked at the amount of people who said that this happened to them or someone they knew as well. The world really is a weird place. And for all who are asking, my legs are perfectly fine now. On a side note, I actually really enjoy running, it's one of my favorite things to do. No, I'm not from China nor have I ever lived there, I'm American. I don't quite understand why people are asking this. Edit 2, a couple Redditors have pointed out to me that it's because killing someone in China is apparently less expensive, which is a horrifying thought, but thanks for the explanations. Is he dead? No. Throws it into reverse. A pelican engulfed my head with its massive effing beak when I was a small child. Pelicans are cants. Pelicants. Having lived around pelicans, I can confirm this. Also, I'm sorry, I know that most have been traumatic. But I am laughing so hard right now after reading this. Because I'm imagining a pelican trying to eat a child's head. Like I am actually in tears from your comment making me laugh so hard. It was super terrifying for little me at the time, but it makes for a great story now, so it's not all that bad. I ran out of gas outside of La Paz, Bolivia. Luckily it was downhill for about 6 kilometers into the city. I coasted the whole way on my motorbike, past buses and drifted into a gas station. Never missed a beat. Sounds like you saved a liter of fuel to me. I've had a headache since August 2015 and I will probably have it for the rest of my life. It's only on half my head, so I got that going for me, which is nice. This made me man out loud. I cannot imagine how you deal. I get headaches and migraines semi-frequently and sometimes to the point I feel like I am being tortured. Is there nothing they can do? How do you cope with a never-ending pain in your head? I genuinely hope you do not have this for the rest of your life. Get addicted to Vicodin and perform insane doctorly acts. At age 50 odd and with limited to no video game experience, my mother completed Mario 64 before I did, in about half the time it finally took me to do it. Get good, sweetie. Kisses forehead. I am related to William Henry Harrison, the president who died from hypothermia because he wouldn't wear a jacket. My great-grandfather and his son both died from hypothermia as well, but under slightly different experiences. I have almost died from eating way too many vitamins, jumping into a ceiling fan, and jumping from a cliff. My dad almost lit a gas station on fire. Basically, we are a very dumb bloodline starting from William Henry Harrison. Someone get this man an agent. And a jacket. I was at a store when Tony Hawk was signing autographs. I was only 10 at the time and was a huge fan. One of his early video games had just come out. The store had a couple TVs on the wall and some video games to play. Being a kid, I waited for one controller to open up and someone leave. A kid ended up leaving and I grabbed the controller and started playing and minding my own business. A couple minutes later the store wanted to grab photos of Tony playing his own video game. He came over and grabbed the second controller and began to play multiplayer with me. Probably played for 10 minutes. The bonus was it was also my 10th birthday. So I played Tony Hawk Pro Skater with Tony Hawk. Nice try sneaking that BS in at the end. We all know you were turning 11. When my mom was in grad school she took several labs where she worked with cadavers. Because my dad worked nights she often had to take me to class with her, and she'd usually just plonk me down on the table with the cadaver while she worked on it. Can I go to work with you? Over my dead body. Slams body bag onto breakfast table. Laugh track so working from home today mum. Stairs. More laugh track. When I was a kid, I woke up to find my cat giving birth to her kittens on my pillow, 1 inch from my face. I took it as a compliment. It totally is. That's like the Cat Congressional Medal of Honor. Right? If a cat closes its eyes around you it means it trusts you, but if it effing births kittens inches from your face you must be like family. I bought a guitar amp from Brad Whitford, of Aerosmith, when I was 17. He and Steven Tyler served up cheeseburgers for me and my friends. Edit. As requested. So, Brad's son was a punk and I knew him from the scene. I was in a band that had some small local marginal success. This is 97-98 in Boston. I needed a new amp for our first US tour but had very little money. I was getting drunk with his son and, on a whim, I asked him if his dad had any amps laying around that he didn't need. We laughed and carried on partying. The next day, I get a call at my home. It was Mr. Whitford himself. He was super nice but to the point. My son says you got a band and need a good rig for your Les Paul. I have something in mind for you. Just gotta have my guy get it from the warehouse. Come by my house in Norwell this weekend and check it out. That was the gist of the call. Obviously, the whole band came with me. And our roadie. We get to his house and it's totally him. So weird. These guys were like gods in Boston. I wasn't the hugest fan but knew him from his work with Wayne's World. He takes me to one of his garages where there is this cool full stack. The brand is Bedrock. An old company from New Hampshire that made good quality amps in the 80s. This one was custom made for Brad. Basically Marshall components. 4 tubes. All the knobs go to 11. Not kidding. Still has the property of Aerosmith stickers on it. He plugs it in and rips a crazy solo on his Les Paul and then hands it to me and I play a couple power chords. He asks for $300 for the whole thing. I pay him and he tells his son to give us a tour of the house. This is where shit gets nuts. It's just like you expect. Tons of gold records, platinum records, pictures of him with people like John Lennon, Robert De Niro, and Joey Ramone. Then we get to see his studio and the largest collection of Marshall AMPs in the world. Seriously, like 200 cabs. A wall of guitars. Guitars so pretty and amps so cool, it made sense for him to find the one he sold me dispensable. After the house tour, he told us to meet him at the little bar and grill they own in town. When we get there early and he arrives 30 minutes later with mother effing Steven Tyler in tow. You guys the punk group? He was so nice. They went in the back and came out with burgers for us all on the house. Then they straight up left. Irish goodbye, even. I still have the amp. I used it on the road for almost 10 years in 5 bands. Now, it's just a conversation piece. But it still works. I'll crank her up every now and then. I can't look left. Seriously. I'm not an ambi looker, it's like the Zoolander of birth defects. It's called Duane's syndrome and my left eye can't turn left, so if I try to look to my left I see double. Growing up, my parents raised me to believe it was a party trick and not a disability, so I would always show it off to friends, which in retrospect I think was pretty sweet. Edit, my mom discovered that something was off when I was a baby and she was doing the airplane motion with the spoon of baby food to the left. My left eye was not cooperating, lol. Edit 2, fun fact: now that I'm in my 30s I can see in photos that there is a bag under my right eye but not under my left eye, presumably because I use my right eye far more often. Edit 3, I am so excited to see there are so many fellow Redditors with Duane's and I'm not alone. I've never met anyone else who had it, so it's really nice to hear from people who know what it's like. Edit 4, a lot of you have asked about driving. It didn't impact me mainly because my mom taught me how to use my mirrors first by turning my head before even letting me turn the car on for the first time. She walked around the car and we tried to identify my limitations. I also have a blind spot detector on my car now, which is super helpful. I try not to totally depend on it though. I am one of very few people outside World War I to live through mustard gas. So rare the doctors, 1995, no internet, had no idea how to treat me. How? Pure child stupidity. I grew up in a sparsely populated High Sierra community with lots of empty vacation homes. One of these homes was under construction about a block. There were no blocks in reality, just long windy roads cutting through the forest, and the construction crew would just leave the half-finished house open between shifts because no one lives here anyway. Came me, a retard. Me and a friend decided to stumble into the home and off around with rando stuff. I saw a large vat used for mixing liquids, and poured an entire bucket of industrial cleaning liquid into it. I went and got another large bucket full of chems, don't mix rando industrial chems children, and dumped that in there too. Huge yellow gas explosion in my face. I got about 15 feet away before collapsing and beginning to retch yellow goo and vomit everywhere. No breathing now, just gasping and vomiting goop. My friend ran to get my mom. She called ambulance. They put me in a helicopter and sent me to UC Davis Medical Center. My doctor eventually made contact with someone who knew how to treat my case through the internet. I had never heard of it. 2 weeks in the ICU, almost died, and my lungs are still effing trash. I'm 34 now. Jesus Christ, kids are effing stupid. Right? Modern medicine saved me from Mr. Darwin. Like and subscribe for more r/ask Reddit videos.